What's up everybody, welcome to Best Massage Tech. My name is Patrick and today I'll be taking a look at the Normatec Pulse 2.0 recovery system. So Normatec is probably one of the most well-known companies in the compression recovery space. I had known about them well before they were recently acquired by Hyperice. You saw a lot of professional basketball players primarily that would be carrying their product around, going into the stadium, going to the arena prior to games and getting on the plane and things like that. And they use a lot of good marketing through a lot of those professional athletes on social media. But they're probably also the most widely recognized in terms of retail outlets. So you can buy these in a lot of different places, Dick's Sporting Goods, Best Buy. So a lot of people are probably familiar with this, and when I started reviewing compression recovery boots, I knew this was one company that I was going to definitely check out. They are one of the more pricier products on the market, and because of that, that's what took me so long. I wanted to make sure I was able to afford these when I bought them. I did get mine from Best Buy today. They've been on sale for almost 6-7 months now, pre-coronavirus, but when they went on sale, I was anticipating something new might be coming out. That might still be the case, but we'll see. But until then, I'm going to take a look at these today. I'm going to start by taking a look at what comes with this out of the box, and then I'll dive into some of the specifications and features of this leg recovery system. So out of the box, you get 2 individual boots. They both have the Normatec branding. They're a very high quality fabric. They've got a real sturdy zipper. They're much more rigid feeling than some of the other boots that I've used. The hoses that come out of them are wrapped kind of in their own liner, and they have this connection piece. There is no distinguished left or right boot. They are both identical. So you get the 2 boots here. You get your pump, which is just a little small unit like this. It has no wires or anything connected to it when you get it. You also get a connection hose. So this is what the 2 boots connect to. They connect to this little split piece, and then the other end connects into the actual pump. So you just take the one end of it and it plugs right in real easily. You just have to kind of line it up, clicks in. When you want to release it, you just press this button and pull it out real easy there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just connect that now. I'm also gonna go ahead and connect each of the boots. So with these, you do want to make sure that whichever one you're going to have on the left or the right, you're just not crossing them over. So there is, again, no distinguishment between the 2 in terms of which one has to go where, but you just want to make sure the hoses aren't crossed over each other. So I'll plug those in. You see this is what it looks like when they are connected to the pump. Then you also get 2 little manuals. So you get a full instruction manual user guide, and then you get a quick start guide. This just walks you through basically the steps that I just showed you, plugging it all together and then how to turn it on. And then the last thing you get, I haven't even taken out of the package yet, this is the power supply cord. It just is used to charge this, which is actually battery powered, but obviously at some point you're going to need to charge it. And then this is a Bluetooth capable device, so in the instruction manual it does also give you instructions how to pair it up with your cell phone. So I have done that. I will show that partway through the video here. But in order to get started, I will show you guys how to put them on and then start to talk about some of the features of it once I have them on. So to put the boots on, you can put them on really 2 different ways. For me, I like to just slide it on almost like a pair of pants and just slide my leg in, and then just make sure I get it down so my foot is in a good spot. Or the other way is to fully unzip it. It does unzip all the way down to the toe. It is stitched together on the bottom, so you cannot fully unzip them all the way. But you just unzip, put your leg in, and then zip it back up real easily. Make sure your hose stays connected. So that's how you put them on. Then once you are ready to get started, you can turn the device on. Now these boots have 5 different chambers. So there's 1 chamber in the foot, 1 in the ankle area, 1 in the calf, 1 in the kind of knee thigh area, and then 1 in the upper thigh. That is the first device that I've seen that has 5 chambers. All the other that I've taken a look at have 4 chambers. And if you're not familiar with what exactly these boots are designed to do, they're designed to help promote fluid movement in your legs. So your blood, your lymphatic fluids, And ultimately they help increase circulation, they help reduce pain and soreness, and they're supposed to help increase range of motion. And a lot of it is dependent on the pressure settings that they have, because you want to make sure that you're getting a high enough pressure that you're able to move fluids. From the research I've done, 80 millimeters of mercury in pressure is the setting that you really need to hit in order to actively be able to move that fluid. And that number is just basically the standard diastolic resting blood pressure. So you just need to make sure you're getting to that number to move fluid. So with these devices, there is 7 different pressure settings that you can choose from. They list the pressure range on the box as going from 30 millimeters of mercury all the way up to 110 millimeters of mercury. However, when I've turned the device on, mine only seems to go to 40 and 100, so I'm not exactly sure if it's just a little bit of distal and proximal pressure differences there. But anyways, it does get past that 80. It doesn't go any higher than 110. And with that, you are able to actively turn some of the chambers off, so you can disable from proximal to distal, both on the housing unit itself and in the app. It does have 2 different massage patterns or modes that you can select from. And when you first turn it on, it's going to go through what they call a calibration phase for a personalized fit. Essentially what that does is just, it slowly inflates all the chambers just to get a standard amount of pressure in all of them before it actually starts going through the actual routine. And of the 2 routines that you can choose from, there is the Normatec pulse function, which is the standard one that it's going to go with when you turn it on. And that is their version of a peristaltic massage. Essentially, it's going to fill chambers progressively versus the other one, which is sequential. With the Normatec Pulse one, I will overlay a video here just so you can see exactly what it does, but essentially it fills one chamber, holds it. While it holds that chamber, it starts to go to the next chamber, and then it pulses. And then it'll always hold 2 chambers behind and then release the most distal one, just to ensure that it's not holding one area for too long and restricting blood flow altogether. And that's something that Normatec has really done a lot of research on that pattern, so it is specific to this system. And then the sequential one is just a inflate and hold all the way through and then release across the board. So with that, I am going to go ahead and just turn it on here just so you guys can see it start to inflate while I continue to talk about everything. In order to turn it on, there is just a power button on the top side of it. You just press that and the screen lights up. And once the screen lights up here, you're going to see basically 2 things. It's the time and the pressure level. And then you have 2 little boot icons that it'll indicate which zone it's currently filling. So you can adjust the time. On the top, you have a minus and a plus here. It's going to jump up in 5-minute increments. And you can go all the way up to 2 hours and 55 minutes. And if you go beyond that, it turns on what they call the continuous setting, which basically just lets it run as long as you want. But for an individual time session, you can go up to 2 hours and 55 minutes. On the low end, you can go all the way down to 10 minutes. You can also adjust the pressure with the minus and plus signs. So here is where it's going to adjust the levels. You have from level 1 up to level 7. And again, that's going to vary in pressure from 40 to 100 millimeters of mercury. For me, I found that level 5 is kind of the sweet spot. It's right around 80 to 90 millimeters of pressure. They also have a function on here called Zone Boost. Zone Boost allows you to select one individual chamber, and you can select it only when it's on that chamber, but when you do select it, it's going to add another 60 seconds of pressure, and it's going to increase the pressure 10 millimeters of mercury just for that zone while you have it selected. So I will go turn it on. I'm going to hit play here. And so now it's going to go through that calibration phase. So it is starting with the feet. You can hear how quiet it is. It's super, super quiet. You see here, it lights up just the foot section just to show you where it's currently pumping. This system does not have a negative gradient compression. So all of the zones, when they are going to fill with pressure, they're going to fill the same, with the exception of the most proximal and most distal. So the highest part of the thigh and the highest and the lowest part of the foot. For a few of the levels, those sections are 10 millimeters lower than all the middle sections, 10 millimeters of mercury lower than the middle sections. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it's something that I noticed, and I will show that in the app once I get into that. So as it goes through this calibration phase, just want to make sure everything's fitting good. You don't have anything twisted or anything. You want to make sure you're wearing comfortable clothes with these. I was wearing some joggers earlier that had zippers on the ankles, and the actual ends of the zippers were starting to poke into my ankles. So just be mindful of what you're wearing when you do have this on. You'll see the legs, they do connect here, so that does help with the flow. It helps it flow evenly and quickly. The size of these boots come in 3 different sizes. So they have a short, a standard, and a tall. I believe if you buy it from Best Buy like I did, they only sell the standard. But the short is for people 5'3" and below. The standard is people 5'3" to 6'3", and the tall is 6'3" and up. So I have a 32-inch inseam. They go pretty much all the way up to my hip, which is a great fit. You feel that all the way up, which is nice. With the Bluetooth app, you can connect that, which I will show here in a second. A couple other things, the pump itself is 4 inches by 4.5 inches by 8 inches. It weighs 3.5 pounds, 3.6 pounds, I think is what it is exactly. So super light, really, really convenient, portable. You can take this wherever. Definitely, if you're gonna be traveling with it, it's easy to just throw in a backpack. The device does not come with a case at all, which I did find interesting. All the other recovery boots that I reviewed come with a case. So just thought it was interesting, even like a backpack or something that it could come with. You can buy both a backpack and a travel case separately for the Normatecs. It's $150 to buy those separately. They are currently priced at $995. Again, they are on sale. They were previously like $1,300, so I don't know if it's just because, you know, they know people are struggling with the economy and everything and they want people to be able to afford it, or if it's something new that's coming out. But it's certainly a really high price point at $995, but I do think it's a justified price. This is one of the highest quality sets of compression boots that I have taken a look at. Everything about it across the board has been easy to use. It's real high quality fabric. You feel like you're getting a great massage. Something that I'll mention that I forgot to mention earlier is that the chambers on here, they are overlapping. So that's really important when you are talking about actively trying to move fluid, because you don't want to have any sections that you're going to have any sort of backflow as there's a transition from one chamber to another. And that actually ties into the Normatec Pulse massage pattern as well, to make sure that that fluid's not moving. But you know, for that price point, obviously it's high price point, but you certainly are getting one of the best products on the market for that price point. So I think it's justified. But certainly there are some cheaper options out there, and you can check out some of my other videos of those products that I've reviewed. With the battery power on this, so it will last for about 2 hours of use continuously, or not continuously, but 2 hours of use depending on what session and what pressure settings you're using. It does take about 6 hours to fully charge it, so make sure you fully charge it before that first use, and then if it does start to get that low battery, which the battery level is indicated up here in the top right, so you know when it's getting close and you might need to recharge it. With that $995 price tag, it does come with a 2-year warranty. That's one area with these boots that I did find a little bit of a discrepancy. The package that it came in says 2-year warranty on it, but the website says 1-year warranty. I think they've recently transitioned probably that 2-year warranty. A lot of the videos that I've seen recently also mention 2 years. So I'm gonna go ahead and confirm that it is 2 years there, just based on everything that I've found, but it does say on their website 1 year, so no, don't necessarily hold me to that, but everything on the package that I have says 2 years, so I think you'd be able to argue if something went wrong. But in addition to the boots, you can also buy both arm setting and hip settings, and you can control both of those with this same pump, so you just have to buy those attachments separately. But I guess a couple other things before I do jump into the app, and I apologize that I've been jumping kind of all around here. There's a lot to go over. So a few other things that you can do on the home screen of the control unit. I know I mentioned earlier that you can do the time and the pressure. You can also adjust the zones. So if you go to level 1, you have to pause the routine. You can't do this mid-routine, but pause the routine, go all the way to level 1 and press and hold the minus button. And then you'll see it comes up and it starts flashing on the boots there, and you can just go up and down and turn on and turn off the different zones. And then once you're ready to go, you just press play again and it'll trigger that. Now I'm gonna pause it again here. You can also go hold it all the way up to level 7 and hold the plus sign, and that will change the mode. So it just changed. I had it on sequential, now it's gonna be the Normatec Pulse mode. And then the last thing you can do is with the time. If you want to put it in continuous, you just have to run up all the way past 2 hours and 55 minutes, and you'll see it indicates continuous there on the time. So you can control everything with it that you're going to be able to control in the app, but the app is just a little bit more intuitive and easier to do. So I am going to go ahead and switch over to a screen share right now, just so you can see what the app looks like. So as you do open up your app, it's going to make sure that it pairs up with your device correctly. You'll see it did find my device, so I just hit yes. When you initially connect, you do have to type in a 6-digit code that pairs up on your device. And so you'll see here, the screen that comes up looks identical to the screen on the control unit itself. When I last showed you, it was in continuous. I'm going to drop this down, so I'm just going to hit my time here. You just use the plus and minus on the home screen. You can adjust it down. Just for the purpose of this, I'm going to put it down to 15 minutes. Again, the level on the bottom there, you can just hit the plus and minus. So I'm going to take it down to level 5. Now, the additional things that you can do in the app that are a little bit easier to maneuver than on the control unit themselves. So up at the top of the screen, I'm going to hit the 3 little lines in the top left. And this is going to bring up where you can look at your advanced options. So I'm going to hit advanced options in the menu. Here's where you can set your rest time. So I'm going to put this down to 30. You can hit back. You can look at the pattern. So here's where you can choose between Normatec Pulse or sequential. I'm going to put it on Pulse. And then the number of zones. This is where you can turn the zones off. You can only turn them off in one direction, going from proximal to distal. So let's say I just want to do basically from my calf or my knee down. I can leave it at 3 zones. You can always hit the little info icon, and it'll tell you a little bit more of exactly how to do that. And again, this is compatible with all of their different attachments. So I'm going to hit the back arrow now, hit the back arrow again, and then you can look at the current settings that I have. So it'll show me that I'm just going to use those 3. It's going to have 30 seconds rest. And then it's going to actually show you what that pressure is. Now, just so you guys can see this, what I was talking about, how sometimes the proximal and distal are different, I'm going to go back and turn all the zones on and then go back to the current settings. So you see here they're listed all at 80. On the control unit right now, I'm going to adjust the levels, and you can watch the time and pressure change here on the app. So here I just dropped down to level 4, and this is what I was talking about. It dropped zone 1 and zone 5 down, but 2, 3, and 4 remain the same. Now I'm going to drop it down to level 3, and it continuously does that until you get all the way down, and then it lines them all back up at 40. And then, so I'm on level 1 now on the unit. I'm going to go up to level 2, and there it is. So you see, it doesn't always adjust them all the same, but just wanted to show that. I'm going to hit the back arrow on the app. You can look at your profile. In your profile, you're able to favorite devices, you're able to look at stats. You can connect to different services, so such as Strava. I believe you can also connect it through the new Hyperice app. I'm not going to dive into all of that yet, or on this video, I'm not going to dive into it all. You can look at your favorite sessions, so you are able to favorite sessions as you are going through, whether there's certain settings that you like. You can do that all through here. So I'm just going to go back. I'm ready to run it here. I'm going to hit the resume in the bottom right, and it immediately turns the device on. So here you'll see here it's showing that it's going to fill the feet. You get an active countdown the entire time. While it's doing this, if I wanted to adjust the time, I can do so. It's going to adjust it in 5-minute intervals. So I'll go ahead and add to that. You'll see it jumped up to 19. You see it's moving up to the next chamber as well. Now the other thing is, if I wanted to adjust the level and increase the pressure here, I can do that as well. However, as soon as I adjust the pressure, it does take a 10-second lapse, and then it sort of resets itself before it starts pumping again. So I'm going to go ahead and just go up to level 3 just so you guys can see that pause. So it'll tell you on the screen it's adjusting. You'll see it continues to count down on the top, and as soon as it's done adjusting, it'll begin pumping again. So now it's going to pump up to level 3. So that's pretty much everything in the app. It's super easy to use, very straightforward, nothing that's too confusing. They put the most basic stuff there. If you want to dive in more, you certainly can with those advanced options. You can always hit the home, it'll take you back. But I will switch back over to the camera now and just talk through a few last things. So personally, I think the app is one of the best features of this, especially with the portability of it. You don't have to be tied down near an outlet anywhere. You can kind of take this wherever you want. You don't even have to be close to the unit. If you wanted to slide this, all the way away from you and just be laying in bed and playing with your phone and adjust something, it's super easy to do that. And just knowing what Hyperice is doing with all their products moving forward, especially with their new Hyperice app, I expect all of Normatec's products moving forward to have that Bluetooth capability. I expect all of the top-end devices eventually to have that Bluetooth capability. So they are certainly one of the first to have that Bluetooth app, and you see how easy to use it is. I really, really like these. They're probably the second best ones that I've tried. I won't put the other company's name in this video right now, but you can watch my review video of all of them that I'll be doing coming up in the near future. But again, if you have any questions about these specifically, go ahead and drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. I guess one thing I didn't talk about is what I'm feeling when I'm wearing these. So they're much more comfortable than some of the other ones, and I think it is because of the controlled pressure and that it doesn't go super, super high. Some of the first compression recovery boots that I tried, it was actually almost a little bit painful when I was wearing them, because the pressure settings were so varying. And by I mean that, you jump 20 to 30 pounds of pressure or millimeters of mercury pressure from one section to another. And so, for me, having that very small range makes them a lot more comfortable. As it inflates and then deflates, you do get a really good fresh feeling in your legs. I do think they do what they say they do. They do move fluid, you can feel it. The first few times you put them on, you almost get like a tingly feeling up as you feel the blood coming back, a good tingly feeling. And then as they deflate, you just feel a super relaxed feeling of kind of fresh blood. Kind of if you ever had that feeling when your foot falls asleep and finally wakes back up, and it feels good. So anyways, that is the Normatec Pulse 2.0 recovery system. That's a review.